Well, what I have here is a reel that I bought from AliExpress, which this is the brand NOEBY non-such 2500 model. Well, to be honest with you, I'm not happy with this purchase, mainly because of the build quality. Okay, external wise it looks okay. Finishing is quite good external wise, but I will talk later about the internal components and the build quality for it, mainly the fitment and how the parts are assembled, which is not really a good purchase for this reel. Okay, let's talk what's the reason why I bought this reel. The main reason I bought this reel is because I saw this model, or the specification of this model is quite similar to a Shimano Ocea Jigger 2000 series, the PG model, the power gear model. I'll just put a comparison, side by side comparison between this model and the Shimano Ocea Jigger series, the 2000 series. Okay, basically these are the specs for this. Copper CNC gear, stainless steel body, and 9 ball bearing with this E-way knob. Forget about this one, the carbon, it's just a Chinese carbon fiber material. I don't even believe that they are using a good quality products or parts for this. And the gear ratio is 5.2 per 1. Drag is 20 kilogram of drag. They can put whatever they want, but I doubt they actually have 20 kilogram of drag. And the line capacity for this model is, for PE3 you'll get around 400 meters. Okay, for PE3 you'll get around 400 meters, and with PE4 you'll get around 300 meters. Basically that's about it. Okay, external wise is okay. Stainless steel construction, stainless steel body, and this is how it looks like external wise. It claims to have 9 ball bearings, 5.2 gear ratio. Well, external is okay, but the problem starts when you really start to using it, take a closer look of how well it's built. This one is a drag kicker, by the way. It's not a spool lock like what you found in Shimano Ocea Jigger. This one is just a drag kicker. Okay, this reel for NOEBY 2000 series non-such on AliExpress costs around 200 Singapore dollar. And reason I bought this reel is because I thought I can get a cheaper alternative compared to Shimano Ocea Jigger 2000 series, the power gear model. For the 2000 series Shimano Ocea Jigger series, it costs around 700 Singapore dollar, and this sucker just costs 200 Singapore dollar, and I thought it will be a good buy. Anyway, I'll go through, just show you guys the specs that almost similar to Shimano Ocea Jigger. First is the star drag reel. This one is a star drag reel instead of a lever drag reel. Okay, and it's a shallow spool design. Overhead reel, doesn't have the line guide, similar to Shimano Ocea Jigger. And the main reason I bought this one is because the seller told me that this reel, especially this clutch, when you engage this clutch, it will actually engage back, lock back the clutch when you crank the handle. Okay, so this is similar to Shimano Ocea Jigger reel. So for star drag reel is quite hard to find at this price point, $200 Singapore dollar price point, that have almost the same spec as the Shimano Ocea Jigger. Because what I'm looking for is that for this function, a clutch that will engage when you crank the handle. Okay, that is the only reason I bought this reel. So in terms of quality wise, this show, this one, the shaft is just too loose. It makes a lot of noise. It just makes a lot of noise when you crank it. Okay, this is really a quality issue on this reel. Another problem is the spool adjustment to adjust the spool. I'll just show you how bad this quality is. I'll just disassemble this screw, and there you go. Do you see how bad this design is? This is just a tiny shim. Okay, and it can't even fit perfectly in here. It's just too bad. Okay, it's just bad, and it's very flimsy. This metal shim is just too small and it doesn't fit in nicely. So what happened is that the spool adjustment will be terrible. So it's very difficult for you to actually have a proper adjustment of the spool. Once you dial it in at the setting that you want, but after a while it will just shift the setting, because this shim will actually move around inside this knob, so you will never get a proper spool adjustment. This will cost around 200 Singapore dollar from AliExpress. I won't recommend you to buy this one actually, and it's just not a good purchase. Take a look on this spool shaft. There's too much play on this, and it will make a lot of noise when you crank this really hard. See, it's just too much play on this shaft. Another problem is it makes sounds when you crank it. Okay, if you hear it, there's some problem with how the clutch is engaged. To solve this issue, you really need to actually yank it, then it doesn't make sound. It's something to do with how the pinion gear been disengaged and then engage back. So if you just release the spool, okay, when you let the line loose, After that, you want to engage back the spool. If you are doing like this, you manually engage back the spool. Sometimes it will make sound. Okay, see, okay, it will make sound. It's not supposed to be like this, but that's how it is. This product really have some issue with the quality and fitment. See, that's why I'm not happy with this quality. And if you do like this, you manually yank the handle to actually lock back the spool, the clutch, then it will be fine. But most of the time, if you do like this, it will have sound. See, this just coupled with these three things, this sound when you crank it. Okay, this kind of sound, coupled with the spool, the spool adjustment knob, which is very badly designed. It doesn't give a good adjustment of the spool, and with this loose handle, the shaft, it just makes a lot of noise when you crank it very fast. So these three things just translate to bad experience when you are using it. So I really don't recommend you guys to buy this. If you are thinking of getting this reel, the 2500 series non-such from NOEBY, so my advice is that save your money, don't buy this reel. I don't recommend you guys to buy this reel. And another bad thing is that I'll just show you the screenshot. When you buy something from AliExpress or other online platform, do check their return policy if you are not happy with the purchase. For my case, for AliExpress, is that I filed for a dispute, and what they offering me is $40 Singapore dollar to so-called a partial refund of this reel. I spent $200 for this crap. I only get $40 refund, or I need to spend probably around $100 in shipping to get a full refund. So is at the end, I'm still on the losing end. I wasted $200 for this, and I can't even get a full refund. Yeah, I can get a full refund provided I ship this back to the supplier in China, which the shipping fee is just not worth it. Okay, I will spend probably around 80 to 100 Singapore dollar just on the shipping fee to get my full refund of $200, which I don't think is worth it. In any cases, it's just on the losing end for me as a buyer. So if you are thinking of buying this brand, this model, if you are thinking of buying this model, JG 2500 series, just save your money. It's just not worth it for its quality, right? It's just not worth it. Yeah, the specs is okay, similar to Shimano Ocea Jigger series. Of course, not exactly the same in terms of quality, but the spec is almost the same. The one thing that I like the most is the spool will actually engage when you actually crank the handle. This is the only function that I really like on the Shimano Ocea Jigging reel that this guy actually can provide. But in terms of quality wise, it's just bad. You see, quality wise it's just bad. sometimes it just have sound, right? Something is grinding inside, which I honestly not happy with it. Yeah, just bad. And one last note is that do be careful if you find another reel, different brand, which I suspect is ECOODA, that is actually selling the same reel. They have another reel. I believe this reel come from one factory or one supplier. It's just that it's been selling with different name on it, or different company just putting a name on it and sell as a different reel. But do take a note on this. The design looks almost the same on another reel called ECOODA. Okay, because I noticed the lever is the same design, almost the same design, and the reel body, not the handle, just the reel body, and the size also. ECOODA have another version called 1500 series, which the same company NOEBY also selling the same model, which I suspect is actually the same reel, just that two different companies selling it differently. But I suspect it's the same reel itself, just different accessories. So I'll put it in the link description below, that actually is the same reel sold by two different sellers. One is NOEBY, another one is ECOODA. So just be worried, just be careful. If you see is this reel and another reel that is been selling close to the same design, I would advise you to avoid it, because you are only getting the same reel and the same problem in terms of quality wise. So just be careful. I'll put the information in the description below where I bought this reel and another reel that looks almost the same from a different company. That's all.